Ladies and germs, the wild card rule is starting to get very tiresome. This week, Darnell and I, we're going to talk about it, and we're going to talk about this week's TV from a very different perspective because the wild card rule has made it to where there's no real reason to break things up like we used to. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how we have content in the vault purely because of accident. And we're going to talk about if the undercarders and mid-carders basically have more freedom and are going to have a better run than the world champions because the world champions are getting blamed for everything right now. All that and more. So put on your YouTube video, start a game of Madden if you must, grab a snack, grab something to drink, and enjoy this week's edition of the Playmakers Blog Podcast for Wrestling. Well, ladies and germs, very flat week, very uneventful week, and we're going to try our best to get 35 minutes out of this episode. To the left of me, as always, is Darnell, the Playmaker Solins, and you are now listening to the Playmakers Blog Podcast Wrestling Edition. How are you doing this week, Darnell?
I'm good, sir. I'm good.
All right, so, Raw.
By the way, my apology I forgot to let go of the Super ShowDown episode. And quite frankly, I'm kind of happy that I didn't.
Well, I mean, I think we all are. I don't know. You made me feel sad just now just saying Super ShowDown. That did happen again, didn't it?
I'm going to be clear. I didn't watch the Battle Royal and I didn't watch the main event.
I mean... So wait, do we have to talk about that, or you forgot to upload it? I'm confused.
I ain't uploaded, but it did happen. So
that'll be back catalog rare when we both have to work one week. That's gold content. We'll just start doing a backlog or some stuff. I don't know. Because Lord knows when the NFL season starts, we're going to have some stuff we don't want to upload. So, but I mean, I don't understand do they understand the long-term consequences of having the people from other brands consistently facing the champions from other brands under the name of the wild card rule, which, again, we have to mention was a last-minute decision by Vince McMahon the day of the show where he announced the wild card rule. I wonder at this point if Fox even cares about the brand or quote unquote having their own stars. Because Kevin Owens facing Seth Rollins, the wrinkles that were put in to yet another Seth Rollins Baron Corbin title match. It's odd to me. There used to be a day where when the WWE draft happened, it was heartbreak. Yeah, we got new storylines and stuff, but when a tag team got broken up in the draft, you felt that. Bro, I remember when Shelton Benjamin got drafted to Raw, and him and Charlie Haas just had their mouths open, and Undertaker was in the background, complete stale face, complete oh well, this happens. But fast forward to 2019, and Darnell, we have somebody from SmackDown who was supposed to be worried about Kofi before he decided not to go to Super ShowDown in solidarity with Sami Zayn. Kevin Owens was supposed to be in a feud with Kofi. I thought there wasn't any consequence to not going to the show. And let's be honest, nobody thinks Dolph Ziggler is about to win the WWE Championship. Is this Owens reps in the main event scene to let people know he's still quote unquote relevant, or what is this?
Shout out to Kevin Owens.
Yeah, I mean,
main events in the same week.
I know, brother is, for all the people that read the blogs and everything with Mr. McMahon not liking his weight and all that stuff, I mean, Kevin Owens has been a top player ever since he came back from injury. Mind you, Darnell, he had 2 knee surgeries. He just knocked both them things out.
Shout out. He backed up Baron Corbin on Monday, then he backed up Dolph Ziggler on Tuesday.
Yeah, man, he's in this piece. he's in this thing. Like, clearly there was no consequence. It's just both shows right now are struggling. And I think what Vince McMahon thought the wild card rule would do, it might be making it worse.
You know why it's making it worse?
Why?
We keep using the same people.
And that's just what I was about to say. Because I want to get into the TV, but Darnell, let's think about it. Let's really think about it for a second. If we get into the TV right now, we're going to be saying the same thing for both shows. So we might as well just talk about this week in general. Like, dude, it's WWE, and you keep signing all these indie people, and you have all these people in NXT like Shayna Baszler and Io Shirai, and you missed the boat with the 4 horsewomen.
You know when it started getting worse?
When?
Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville had a moment backstage, and who they had a moment with?
Ooh, I might have missed it. Oh yeah, with the magazine. The magazine was last week, but I mean, like, yeah.
So where has Ember Moon been this whole time?
Dude, you remember the pop Ember Moon got when she came out during that whole, like, this is the new SmackDown Women's Division promo? Dude, remember when they were supposed to be? Remember when SmackDown was supposed to have the deep women's division? And Becky was supposed to carry Raw by herself? Because we all pretty much figured that, she was going to lose the SmackDown title.
The funny thing is, Becky don't have to carry the Raw Women's Division. Where's Naomi? We ain't saying she has to win the title, but where's Naomi? Naomi's a 2-time SmackDown Women's Champion.
Well, dude, they're doing tag team matches every week. She has SmackDown
on SmackDown trying to fight for Bayley's title.
How is it that the star who main evented and won 2 championships at WrestleMania is always in tag matches? We have a women's tag team championship, and you always have your Raw Women's Champion, who is the star of the company, in tag team matches. And the Iconics are out here like doing the longest reigning champion promos, even though they never defend and they always lose. And it's like, dude, Becky Lynch was just a double champion. Now, I get it. She was just a double champion. And you don't want to overwear that. But Darnell, the whole reason why we were like, Becky's going to lose a championship is because we were all saying, how long is she going to be able to do 2 shows and 2 matches on pay-per-view? Well, hell, she's doing both shows now anyway. Do you know how weird it looks to have that big-ass red belt on the blue show and vice versa? Why did you make these belts the colors of the brand when, this? Because at this point, it's like, with the wild card rule going on, when are we going to do the old so-and-so wins the WWE Championship and the WWE Championship goes to Raw because that's the company title and Raw is the flagship show? I feel like now we don't even need to worry about what they're going to do with the Universal title if the Universal title ever goes on SmackDown. It's the wild card rule. It's still the Raw Championship. It's just on SmackDown more often.
And to your credit, sir, we could be entering a nightmare season.
How you figure?
Because in case y'all intentionally forgot, Shane McMahon beat Roman Reigns.
Oh yeah. Oh, and he did the whole top of the stage and choked out The Miz after The Miz had 2 matches with his enforcers. So somehow, some way, a guy who really should be on his way to beating Finn Balor and breaking Chris Jericho's record with the Intercontinental title, a guy who really should be past this, and we should be capitalizing on the fact that The Miz is actually over as a babyface and could have like a really, really good match with a lot of people and just win a good wrestling match. There doesn't have to be a good or bad guy if he faces Finn Balor. There doesn't have to be a good or bad guy if he faces Andrade. There doesn't have to be a good or bad guy if he faces a lot of the young guys in the mid card right now. No. his TV where he's going to invite Drew McIntyre. And everybody else comes in tow. It's like, okay, how did we really think this was going to go down? So now Shane McMahon is tying up The Miz, and he's in a feud with Roman Reigns, where it's like, Roman should be feuding with Drew. We think he's feuding with Drew at this point. But in actuality, Drew is just the wall to get to Shane, which they established in that, Miz angle. Drew is just the wall to get to Shane. And Roman's really feuding with Shane, even though he's about to have a powerhouse match with Drew. The same match, please correct me if I'm wrong, I'm getting old, that we had at WrestleMania after the WWE Championship match where the crowd was super quiet.
Yeah.
I don't mind Shane being a top heel persona because, and let's just be honest about it right now, Darnell, who are the heels right now?
Drew, Shane, Elias is technically a heel, but
You know what? Let me. You're right. I didn't do that right. Who are the main event level heels right now?
Okay. Drew, Shane. At this rate, they're going with Lars Sullivan. He gonna be one very soon.
Yeah. You got Kevin Owens. Daniel Bryan right now to stay relevant, but Daniel Bryan.
I can't even count them. They finally appeared on Tuesday.
You're right. But you know what it is though, right? It's because they're a tag team. And it's weird when the top guy and his enforcer become tag team champions because it's like they're not equals. Like when Miz and Mizdow were tag team champions, it was weird because it was like it was really a comedy thing. Like we weren't there to see one of the best tag teams in the world. We were there to see Mizdow do the stuff on the apron and mimic Miz. And it got so over that it made sense them being tag team champions because you could feature them more. You didn't have to just have them out there for no reason. But Vince McMahon and his tag team wrestling, man, Daniel Bryan, before he got hurt, won the Intercontinental Championship in a ladder match. That same WrestleMania, John Cena beat Rusev for the United States Championship. That specific WrestleMania and those two matches were because those belts were at the floor. They put those belts on John Cena and Daniel Bryan at the same WrestleMania because they needed to get those belts up and up quickly. Because once they unified the World Heavyweight Championship with the WWE Championship, they basically lost their Intercontinental Championship. The big gold belt became the Intercontinental Championship after a while. So it's like I don't see that problem with the tag team titles. The problem I see with the tag team titles is everybody is doing everything on the same two shows. You got the same 16 or so people on TV every week. Just unify the tag team belts. You literally have one belt that's supposed to be defended across all four brands that have a women's tag team division. Just unify the belt across the main roster. Because at this point, it's like you have Daniel Bryan and Rowan as tag team champions, and they don't defend. Because who are they going to defend against? They literally won the belt in a vacant title match against the Usos, who are a Raw tag team. There aren't enough tag teams. That's literally the reason why you have one women's tag team championship, because there aren't enough women's tag teams. But back to the thing. So, there's no heels right now. There are 5 heels, and that's if you count Daniel Bryan. There's 5 heels and 4 singles championships. 3 of those are held by faces. So Finn Balor needs somebody. Kofi Kingston needs somebody. And Seth Rollins needs somebody. Right now, Seth Rollins is in a feud with Baron Corbin, and here's the problem that they're going to run into with that.
And with Brock Lesnar.
Oh, yeah. Okay, 6. Dude, he's in a feud with Baron Corbin right now, but Brock Lesnar is going to get the belt. But here's the problem that you run into when it comes to Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin is a main event heel right now. Baron Corbin, it may seem weird.
Baron Corbin is a top heel that nobody cares about.
Yeah, and it may seem weird, but listen, Seth Rollins and Baron Corbin right now are 2 of the top guys in the company. And they're 2 of the top guys in the company because they don't go on SmackDown. You would think to yourself, well, dude, in the wild card rule, Vince is trying to use everything that he can. How does your logic conclude that Seth Rollins and Baron Corbin are 2 of the top guys right now because they're not going on both shows? Because one is the Raw World Champion, and one has been in significant main event matches since the whole, no general manager thing started. Dude, as soon as Baron Corbin got fired as general manager and they announced that it was going to be a new era of WWE, he's been in the main event picture ever since. He's been in matches. He's been in number 1 contenders matches for the Universal title. He's been in ladder matches. He's been in actual pay-per-view matches. Baron Corbin right now is Seth Rollins' full-time Achilles heel. Because we all know Brock's not going to be there all the time. So because we know Brock's not going to be there all the time, who are they relying on to be the heel and for Seth to actually go against? Darnell. Seth Rollins walked in to Super ShowDown hurt. He walked in with the taped ribs and everything. Dude, he had to use the Baron Corbin yelling at the referee as a distraction to get a roll-up in the opening match of the show. He had to get a distraction roll-up victory against Baron Corbin in the first match of the show.
And Paul Heyman tripping over the ropes. That's so he's going to get his ass whooped by Brock Lesnar again.
Well, sometimes you got to do what you got to do, Darnell. Sometimes you got to duck when the fire's coming. But dude, they're making Baron Corbin Seth Rollins equal. They're putting Sami Zayn in as a referee. They're giving him a little bit of a oomph. They're making it seem like, Baron Corbin, if he wasn't yelling at the ref at Super ShowDown, who knows? Brock Lesnar ain't going to be back for a while. Brock Lesnar might take the entire year. Are we really just going to wait for life to pass us by for an entire year? Because here's the weird thing about Brock Lesnar. He did everybody a solid by being around the first month after Money in the Bank and doing the Saudi pay-per-view because he actually put over the briefcase. Now it makes sense for him to not be there every week. We know Brock Lesnar is looming. We also know that we've also been told that Brock Lesnar retired from UFC. Brock Lesnar was around for a whole month, and now Brock Lesnar is picking his spots because Seth Rollins is he's aware. Seth Rollins is too ready. Every week he gets more and more and more ready for Brock Lesnar to cash in. So now he has to hide away. It makes sense now. But Baron Corbin being the heel that Seth Rollins is feuding against right now, when's the last time Baron Corbin's been on SmackDown? It's still a brand extension. And if it's still a brand extension, the guy who was the world champion on Raw and the guy who was facing the world champion on Raw, those are 2 of the top ones. Those are the ones. Now, we don't have to like that. I don't know if
Kofi Kingston hasn't been on Raw in a while.
That's a good thing, though, because, he's been busy leading his own trio and being the champion on SmackDown, as he should be. That's a good thing because Kofi Kingston, and look, you remember the little thing they did with Seth Rollins when they were in Iowa and they tried to make it seem like, the hometown boy came home with the world title and all that stuff? Dude, Kofi Kingston went back to Ghana. They had 5 YouTube videos chronicling everything he did that day in Ghana. He came home to a true champion's welcome. In 2019, when we all kind of know what we know, wink, wink. He went to West Africa with our traditional behind cousins and they treated him like a real, actual world heavyweight champion, like the star that he actually is. Like, ever since Kofi Kingston and Seth Rollins won their belts at WrestleMania, Kofi has become more and more and more and more and more that underdog Andy Ruiz type champion. He was Andy Ruiz before Andy Ruiz. If Andy Ruiz had knocked the hell out of Anthony Joshua before WrestleMania, like, it would have been that much better. Corey Graves would have been calling Kofi Kingston and Andy Ruiz at WWE every week. But, like, seeing that in a sport like boxing, and then seeing what they've been doing with Kofi Kingston, it makes even more sense. And then you look at Seth Rollins, and it's like, dude, you just now started getting the main event spot on your own show. And it's against Baron.
Well, to flip gear, we know one team ain't going to AEW for sure.
At least we hope. I hope that doesn't mean that they re-signed. Because, I mean, tag team division ain't changing no time soon for the Revival. That was the, you passed it to me, and I passed it back to you. It's the fast break week.
I know. I had to slow it down. Because they are part of Shane's group too.
Yeah. And here's another thing that confuses me. Drew was on Raw and Elias is on SmackDown. But it seems like the Revival are like the Raw version of Shane's group. Even though Drew is on Raw. So, I mean, let's see now. Elias, 2-time 24/7 champion. You got the Revival, 2-time tag team champions. So now we just need to get a belt during this whole thing on Drew. But which one?
You want to go for the Intercontinental title? Because right now, Shane beating all the top guys, so it look like Shane going to be the one getting the big title.
Have you seen the people fantasy booking on Twitter about Shane being WWE champion while Brock is Universal champion?
I seen that.
Did it make you have that weird acidic feeling in the back of your throat too?
Back of my throat.
Like when you throw up in your mouth.
Loaded.
Oh. Jesus. I honestly, here's the sad thing, Darnell.
I'm like, are we finna go into the era of the McMahons? This time Shane the one leading it?
Here's the weird thing. On one hand, I could respect it because Shane has been putting in like real week after week after week work, and he's not. He's throwing around his weight as a member of the McMahon family, but he's like much more of a wrestler than the other two were. When Mr. McMahon came out, it was like how Brock Lesnar is now. Like, you knew when Vince McMahon was in that black tank top and those black jeans, ish was going down. Stephanie McMahon, ironically, when she was like, in the women's champion era of her career, she was a 10 times worse wrestler than she is now. Stephanie McMahon is a better athlete now than she was back then, and she never wrestles. Like, ever. And there's a whole women's division and a women's revolution that she could have capitalized on. But she didn't, which is a good thing. That's not a bad thing. Shane, though, is weird. The men's division needs heels. Bad. And Shane, I mean, he looks like somebody's dad. He looks like an older guy. But the thing is, like, Shane is in the best shape of his life. Shane is doing more week-to-week wrestling and promo work than he probably has done since he was hardcore champion and European champion. You got to go back to remember a time where Shane did this much consistent wrestling. So, I mean, I feel like he has his own stable, and he's establishing an actual in-ring character. And that's why I feel bad, because it's like, dude, there's no heels, and Kofi and Seth aren't exactly saving the ratings. The smaller, faster, high-flying world champions that everybody wanted at WrestleMania have not been able to save the ratings. So naturally, what would Vince do?
I have a question.
What?
Because some interesting competitors are competing for one title.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts about the U.S. title now?
Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? It's a long process. It's a hard, thought-out process. Yeah, I know. I was there. I was there from March of this year, thinking about how I'm going to do this, doing all my research, trying to get everything right. What platforms can we use and how we going to record it and how we going to make it sound good and make it all this happen. And then I came upon Anchor. The Anchor app on my phone, the easiest choice I could ever make to do a podcast. It's free to use. You don't got to pay for nothing. You can record episodes whenever you're ready. You can edit it and then you can release them when you want to. And you don't have to worry about trying to figure out how you're going to distribute it on other platforms because Anchor has partnerships with Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Castbox, Pocket Cast, whatever you name it. Because the Playmakers Bar podcast is the podcast that I use. We're on all them platforms. We're on 9 platforms just by using the Anchor app. So pretty much all the questions that you have questions about doing a podcast, go to the Anchor app or go to the Anchor website, anchor.fm.com, and just search through it, ask questions. Because I tell you, a free app that does all this, there's nothing more you can ask for. I even got friends, they doing their podcast on the Anchor app. Faith Talk, you might have heard of it because it's very good. And it's great that it's an app like this, it's a website like this that makes it easier for people to do podcasts and do what they love best, talking about the things that they love to talk about. So give Anchor a try, see how much you like it. We'll love to hear your podcast.
Okay, so that 6-man tag was basically supposed to be like, the baby faces on the other side were the ones who are eventually going to face Joe for the belt, right?
You like to think so. But everybody wants that U.S. title. So it's almost like it don't matter if you heel or face. Joe, you're the target.
I mean, let's see. Because I'm looking at the people who are in that match. Lashley, Cesaro, Braun Strowman, The Miz, and Ricochet were all in that match with Samoa Joe. That is a beefed up division. That is a very good, high-quality U.S. title division. Right now in this era, WWE has made it to where the lower titles are actually the ones that mean the most and are the most entertaining. The top 3 titles are the Universal title, the WWE title, and the Continental title. Those are like right now. The U.S. title, with Samoa Joe and his promo skills and the way he goes, if he's going against Cesaro, Bobby Lashley, Strowman, Miz, and Ricochet, if those are the guys that he's like going up against, if those are the guys who are competing in number 1 contenders matches, U.S. title just became like the 24/7 title in the women's championships. We're going to care about the U.S. title more than we care about anything. Samoa Joe versus Ricochet, if that happens at Stomping Grounds, if Cesaro, Samoa Joe, if that would have happened at Stomping Grounds, those are 2 matches right there where it's like, okay, we're either going to get a hard-hitting brawl or we're going to get Samoa Joe just completely grounding a high flyer and seeing if Ricochet can like pull off the upset. Either way, both of those stories would be amazing. And then you just have Samoa Joe just being a badass and saying, I don't care if you're taller than me, you ain't bigger than me. And just throwing complete soup bowls with Braun Strowman. I'm with that. I'm with the United States Championship division developing like that. Oh, and we only have The Miz, who like might be. He's
only one that's got every title in the company.
Miz is top 3 mid-carder in WWE history. Like out of like any era, if you look at the mid-carders and like what they did in their era, Miz is up there. Miz overachieved. Miz got recognized in the PWI top 500 as like a top 5 dude. Miz main evented at WrestleMania and went against John Cena. Like, a lot of people like to go all the way back to like the greatest era in WWE's history and be like, Miz won't be able to handle the candle in the Attitude Era. Okay, but what about the New Federation Era? What about the second half of the Ruthless Aggression Era, which he was in? What about SmackDown's United States Championship division between 2003 and 2004? Dude, take out the Attitude Era, because that's where you're going to get the edges. That's where you're going to get the Chris Jericho was in the mid-card in the Attitude Era. So that's the thing. A lot of guys who won the Intercontinental title in the Attitude Era were really in the main event eventually. There's a big gap between Rikishi and Chris Jericho. Edge is somewhere in that gap as far as just Attitude Era goes. But if you take out the Attitude Era, Miz is like top 3 mid-carder in like the company's history. So that right there in itself, like the guy you look at when you think of the Intercontinental title and the U.S. title in this era, he could go up against Samoa Joe. Mind you, this is Samoa Joe's like only belt on the main roster. This is his second run with it, but this is his only belt. Like right now, when we think of Samoa Joe, dude, we think United States title. This is the only one he's had. That right there makes the division better, because it's like, dude, somebody like Samoa Joe has only won the U.S. title. Samoa Joe is going to hold on to that U.S. title until he can't, which might not be ever. And then with the wild card rule, because, why not? Dude, we'll never get it, but what would a Samoa Joe and Andrade match be like?
Andrade took the week off.
Well, wait, where was Charlotte?
They said Charlotte gonna be missing some shows. Well, we don't know, so we ain't gonna see a queen for a hot little minute.
Well, Andrade, you gotta get back to work sometime, brother. You gotta get back to work sometime.
Open up with the women's division is like, well, the queen could have solved all that.
Yeah, well, let's see. Oh, we did great. All right, so
going back to the women's real quick. Yeah, they just hit me.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to the team Oscar and Kairi Sane?
I don't know, because in perfect segue, thank you. I don't know, because the Iconics just faced a jobber tag team on Raw after cutting a promo that they're the longest reigning tag team champions ever. So like we had a whole tag team, and Paige was supposed to be their manager, and that was like blah.
They didn't get their title shot.
I feel like all 3 of them weren't feeling that. And another thing that's weird is like you have 2 Japanese superstars and you have heavy English accent, even though she's been in the United States for like 6 years, Paige. Well, longer than that, like 8. Because she won the Divas Championship in like 2013. So like it really doesn't fit. It's really weird right now. Maybe they're trying to figure out how to make this work better. Because Paul Heyman with RVD made sense because it was the owner of ECW, and it was the greatest guy to have never won a world championship up until 2006.
If you ask me, you talking about the guy who owned, the guy who ran it, and the guy who was the face of it. Exactly.
Paul Heyman, Big Show made sense because this was the guy that Paul Heyman turned on Brock Lesnar for. Like, this was the guy that Paul Heyman had basically put his whole mortgage on. Because if you turn against Brock Lesnar, not only are you going to need a way to replace that income, you're going to need a bodyguard. And Black Tank Top, Black Jeans Big Show in 2003-ish, that was a pretty good bodyguard. That was when he was doing the F5 and stuff. So, Paul Heyman, when he went with different people, they adjusted it to make sense. They adjusted his character around it to make sense. They adjusted the backstory to make sense. And like with Paige being with those 2, why is she with those 2? Every time a manager is put with somebody, there is a why. Selena Vega says it all the time in her promos. She is the business manager of Andrade. She's not a wrestling manager. She's the business manager. And because his main source of income happens to be pro wrestling, she's always going to be around to make sure that Andrade maintains his best interest. That's why she's at the ring. Like, Andrade makes his money from wrestling. Why would she not be at the ring? Singers, managers, or backstage. Same difference. So, like, but with Paige, it's like, why is she with them? Where's the connection? They never really established that. And then on top of that, because of, like, the language barrier, she's supposed to be their mouthpiece, but it's like, So hopefully they were retooling that. I hope they didn't just put him backstage because it didn't work, and now they don't know what to do with them. Because the Iconics losing the real tag teams, but beating Jobber Tag and calling reigning tag team champion, that's going to get old super quick. That's how you get a division.
Speaking of tag teams, I play with me. Even though I didn't watch the Battle Royal, I know a certain team is back.
Yeah, like it, and that was the most. That was the most. I saw that and I was like, "Is that Akam?" It is. Mm-hmm. And I was like, "Wait a minute, that's where they are." I'll be damned. They brought back AOP in the damn 50-man Battle Royale. Well, I mean, 50-man Battle Royale, and you're not trying to double up on people, you're putting basically the rest of the roster on the show. You see how the guy from NXT, who happened to be from Saudi Arabia, is the one who won.
Good for the hometown kid. You well done. But WWE, don't y'all play with me. I don't care if the Revival got the tag team title. I don't even care that Daniel Bryan and Warren got the SmackDown tag team title. Don't y'all play with me.
You know what makes it like, and this is the thing. The show must go on. There is no off season. Drake Maverick right now, there is going to be a huge payoff when he wins the 24/7 title. It's gonna be like when Wile E. Coyote was like almost had Roadrunner and like Dynamite would go off or something. He's gonna pin R-Truth, then like a bus is gonna come out of nowhere. Like Braun Strowman's gonna be like running after somebody, and Drake Maverick's gonna be celebrating, and Braun Strowman's just gonna like shoulder tackle him and have him fly across like the room, and Truth is just gonna pin him while he's sprawled on the ground and win it back. Drake Maverick right now is on. The payoff is gonna be so he can't go back to AOP. What's he gonna do? Be in serious AOP mode, and then R-Truth comes out and he just breaks character to go into another character? Akam and Razor are gonna be like, what the hell?
Why did you bring up the 24/7 title?
Carmella, bro. At this point, I don't know if Carmella's gonna break our hearts and roll up Truth, or if Carmella is literally like Truth's guardian angel until this is all over.
Guardian Angel locked him in a box. Now he's been shipped to Los Angeles.
But she dragged him back in the elevator. I mean, you gotta take the good with the bad, bro. Like, bro, when that elevator opened, Truth saw the referee.
Bruh, he's literally stuck in a box being shipped to Los Angeles with Jinder Mahal on the way there. He's going to make it to Raw, and Jinder Mahal is going to be standing right there.
Shout out to Jinder Mahal being like a tag team championship away from being a Grand Slam champion. If you ever wake up in the morning and say, well, I'm not elite at anything. If you ever wake up in the morning, look in the mirror, and you're just not feeling it, just remember, Jinder Mahal is an accidental pinfall away from being a Grand Slam champion. And right now, he is.
Pretty much. Between Truth, Jinder, and Elias, this 24/7 title is like hilarious.
Bruh, like, you remember how much people were shitting on the title the first night? And it was weird because I do my fair share of shitting. But bruh, even I was like, bruh, it's the first night. The hardcore title was literally a WWE title that got smashed with a hammer and they put duct tape on it and they wrote hardcore in black Sharpie. Like, bro, the hardcore title was a beaten up belt. Was it barely hanging on together? Like, so what if the belt is ugly? The hardcore belt was ugly. It's what they do with it. And, bruh, ever since then,
this title don't change hands on the golf course, backstage, in the ring, under the ring, on the airplane.
Bruh, it's the first and only WWE championship to ever change hands over international waters. R-Truth is a 5-time champion. Titus O'Neil was the first champion. When Titus O'Neil opens up, you know this is going to be a comedy championship. Dude got rolled up by Bobby Roode like 3 seconds after he won the belt. Like, right now, R-Truth is like the standard bearer of this division with like 5 championship reigns. Then you got, I think, Jinder and Elias are tied in second place with like 2. Then you got everybody else. But, it's sad because, sometimes Elias is fighting for the 24/7 championship. Other times he's being serious with Shane. I wonder at what point when they're going to be like, okay, Elias is the court jester of the stable. But at some point we have to, like, take him out of the division or else he won't fit. And then you got, but you got Jinder. And then you got Drake Maverick's huge payoff. And then you got Carmella's huge payoff. Like, I'm serious when I say this, Darnell. There are comedy wrestling promotions out there, and there are promotions that, like, their thing, like Michinoku Pro, DDT Pro. Michinoku Pro is kind of like Cruiserweight. But, like, DDT Pro in Japan, that is the perfect example of, like, a comedy wrestling promotion where, like, that's what they do. But, dude, for such a stiff promotion, for such a promotion where it's, like, so predictable, and it's, like, sometimes it's just, like, we could tell what's going to happen. They turned this belt into, like, legitimately one of the best things on the show every week. They even have social media stuff. I find myself going to WWE's Facebook page just to see if there was a defense. And that brings me...
I can't go no further.
What is that?
I can't go no further. That darn title had me rolling.
Oof.
No, I take that back. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to, guys don't know this, but I'm here to admit we might have found something more creepier than The Undertaker.
I mean,
when they finally let this man make his official appearance, it's going to be hell to pay.
I honestly thought when Undertaker put old boy up on the Texas Cross, that was pretty rough. But, brother, when he beat the puppet and jelly came out the puppet.
And ate it.
And then finished the job and had a whole jar of it.
And promoted it.
Yowie wowie. Mind you, we only saw The Fiend for a couple of seconds. What people don't realize is Bray Wyatt, like Demon Finn Balor, Bray Wyatt was already that. Now there's a part of Bray Wyatt that's even worse. Because Bray Wyatt, when he said, do I need to bring up The Fiend, everybody in the room got scared and started shaking. Even Mercy the Buzzard, which, if you look at Mercy, it's like he's scared of a few things. Even Mercy got scared. Like, dude, this is Bray Wyatt in a whole different level. This is cult leader in the 70s with the Stunner Shades, Bray Wyatt. And now he has an even more sadistic and vicious part of himself. You can even see how he tweets on Twitter now. It's like he's luring you in with his kindness. He's luring you in with his soft voice. Like,
hide your kids. Hide your wife.
Please hide your dog.
Hide everybody.
And I guess this is the perfect point. This will be my last question. And we can end it all on this because I feel like this is going to take a few minutes. Do you think that the world titles in this era of WWE are more of a shackle than they are what they're supposed to be. When you look at R-Truth, when you look at Samoa Joe, when you look at Bray Wyatt, hell, when you look at Bayley, right now, when you look at people who are considered to be in the like mid card or the undercard, hell, even Elias when he's on his own, to me, they seem freer. Like, when I look at the Revival and how they won the tag team championships, when I look at how the Revival, even though it hasn't been that great for them, have been on TV every week in segments that like aren't bad. When I look at the Usos might be the greatest tag team when it's all said and done in WWE history. They've never been in danger of breaking up. There's never been any rumors of them breaking up. And every time there's a tag team lull, they get the call. I feel like the world championships in this era, once you become world champion material, they're putting all their eggs into your basket. And there's so many unrealistic expectations that it's like, it might not even be worth it. Now, if you ask a wrestler, they're always going to say it's worth it. They're going to say that's stupid. But from the outside looking in, it seems like Seth and Kofi are in the complete no-win situations. The ratings are always going to be their fault. But Vince McMahon likes his heavyweight champions and his heavyweight division to be an exact certain way. Do you agree or disagree?
I think Kofi Kingston's reign is going just fine. I think Dolph Ziggler came back, and we still can see Dolph Ziggler can still go. Kevin Owens ain't far behind. I think Kofi Kingston's reign is doing pretty good. It's Seth Rollins' reign we're worried about because nobody cares about Baron Corbin, and now we are literally in a waiting process of when Brock Lesnar is actually going to cash in.
But the thing is, and I agree that I feel like it's going fine, but the problem is Kofi Kingston is the world champion. So people are going to put the ratings on him. The ratings aren't going up while he's world champion, so it's his fault. Same thing with Seth Rollins. Mind you, that's completely unrealistic because it's Dolph Ziggler and Baron Corbin. Those are two people where you have shown us, like, dude, they're not going to win. And even when they do win, they're not going to win for long. Dolph Ziggler lost the world championship the first time in the same night he got it. Then, because he got concussed by Jack Swagger, he lost it the next pay-per-view after he cashed in on Alberto Del Rio. He lost it to Alberto Del Rio. Like, these are two people where it's like, these are your backup plans.
Pretty much. They haven't used Dolph Ziggler, right? That's the same as they have been using Kofi Kingston, right, until they finally gave him a title, that world title. If they had to use Dolph Ziggler, right, everybody wants to see Dolph Ziggler win a championship.
Well, Kofi Kingston have been quote-unquote used, right, if there was actually a deep main event scene like there have been in recent years, though. That's like the weird thing. Kofi Kingston deserves it. Kofi Kingston has been the better world champion out of the two right now. It was the right call. It was the right move. But right now, it's still going down. And this is what people said that they wanted. Kofi Kingston got the call up because he got hot. And it was like audible that the crowd was behind Kofi. It was audible that like you're putting all your eggs into this like Seth Rollins basket, making him win the Royal Rumble when he didn't really need to win the Royal Rumble. Basically promoting him that entire 4-month period alongside the Becky Lynch match. They didn't have a plan for SmackDown. Kofi Kingston got hot. Now you're giving the people what they said they wanted, and the ratings are going down, like down. I think SmackDown had its lowest rating ever this past week.
I think what happened is, remember, when Kofi Kingston got the title, we was good. The Icons got the title too. The women's tag team champion is at what level right now?
The level Sasha thought they would be at if they lost.
Then Finn Balor won the Intercontinental title. He doing good, but lately you haven't been seeing Finn Balor in the Intercontinental Championship.
Man, like, where is he?
Then it's good that Bayley won the title, but Where's our SmackDown challengers at? We got Alexa Bliss challenging, and she's on Raw. But Ember Moon is on SmackDown. Mandy Rose is on SmackDown. Sonya Deville is on SmackDown.
James is on SmackDown. Mickey James doing all these Instagram posts is crazy. That might be why she's not getting on TV, but I mean, damn.
I mean, like, you can put on Kofi Kingston, but we all know it ain't on Kofi Kingston. Your women's tag team title is like at the bottom already. That ain't taking long to happen. The Intercontinental Champion, he's on and off all of a sudden, all of a sudden. Bailey's feeling with a person that's from Raw. And by the way, can somebody go ahead and challenge Aleister Black for once, good grace?
Somebody book the poor brother, please. I did not know where he was going when he asked somebody to open the door, but after that person opened the door, I was like, oh, damn, that was good. That was really good.
You can say, oh, you was the top guy when the Reigns was this side, but y'all didn't do nothing with everybody else. So get everybody else in line, and then you'll get your ratings. Cause we all know Kofi Kingston's gonna be Kofi Kingston. New Day gonna be New Day. Everybody's gonna be happy and feeling positivity. And then if you try Kofi Kingston, we won't get down to business.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we love seeing Kofi Kingston and Dolph Ziggler go at it.
This is true.
Because it's all about business.
That's accurate.
And on Raw, I mean, ain't no need to go into that one.
I mean, what can you say about Raw that we haven't already said? I honestly don't think there's anything.
Where's AJ at?
He's selling that back injury, but good question.
Where is AJ Styles? Where are the Good Brothers?
Why did they announce that AJ Styles, Gallows, and Anderson are going to be tagging with Triple H for the Tokyo tour? And they're going to use that to get the cheap pops in Tokyo. But they're not going to use it on regular TV. You have 3 different Bullet Club leaders. No, 4. You have 4 different Bullet Club leaders in WWE right now. But there's no Bullet Club knockoff.
By the way, Randy Orton, Triple H, marvelous work, people. Marvelous work. Marvelous work.
It was a lot better than Undertaker Goldberg.
That might have been my match of the night, my match of Super ShowDown.
Well,
some people might Dolph Ziggler, but whew.
Undertaker Goldberg?
No, Kofi Kingston and Dolph Ziggler.
Oh.
I gotta go Triple H, Randy Orton. No type of business. There's one face-to-face meeting, and that's what they gave you.
Triple H, man, he's almost 50, but he still knows what he's doing. But with that, because we definitely wanted to go too long, we did a lot better than I thought we would, stretching this thing out. So Darnell, plugs this week.
If y'all haven't noticed and y'all haven't heard or watched on social media, I have released my first ever book entitled The Ebbs and Flows of Love. It's a collection of writings I have done throughout my years, going back from high school all the way up to where I'm at now. And we decided to put it all into a book, and it's gonna take you on a journey. And this journey is going to put you right in the middle of it. You're going to feel like you're actually in it. So buy the book on Amazon, read it, talk about it to your friends, your families, whatever. Because this book is that good.
Is digital the only way to have the book?
Nope, you can get paperback book on it on Amazon too.
Cool. And for the people who are closer to you or willing to pay for shipping, are you going to have any paperbacks on you by chance?
I'll be working on that next week.
Cool. Any NBA Finals thingies that you got going on?
We're going to find out if Toronto closed them out or we will have a Game 7 on Monday. And I'm here to tell you, if there's a Game 7 on Monday, Canada, go ahead, get your tissues ready, because you're going to be crying at the end of Monday night.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
So, hey, the finals are done. Hey, shout out to the St. Louis Blues, first ever Stanley Cup victory.
Shout out to
y'all.
the city of St. Louis. Shout out. And since we're shouting out teams and other sports, shout out, rest in peace to the great Steve McNair, and shout out to Eddie George, getting his flowers while he's still alive. The Tennessee Titans haven't been worth shit since y'all retired. Fuck the Tennessee Titans, and see y'all next week.